What's up, guys? It's Meow, and I am back with another video. A second of two videos posted today. If you didn't watch the other one, go ahead and check that out, especially if you're a NASCAR fan. I gave my thoughts regarding the whole situation with Matt Benedetto and all of that. And I mentioned in that video that as I was putting it together, Sean Ross Sapp dropped an article over on Fightful Select regarding Bray Wyatt and the WWE. This is something that he's talked about in, looking to gather information on pretty much since last week, or last week, week before, whatever, when Ringside News, which if you're getting your news from them, they're unreliable as fuck. Um, Best example is the fact that they did this whole report on Braun Strowman and his future plans and whatever. Braun called them out for being liars and not and this and that, and they turned around and blocked him and then retweeted out that article as if nothing happened. Like, bro, what the fuck? But anyway, I'm gonna read this report off and then give my thoughts. And with that said, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe. I really appreciate that. And let me know your thoughts down below on it. Obviously, I've talked in the past regarding Bray and his release still pisses me off. But let's go ahead, let's take a look at this and go from there. Now, there's somebody posted a pair of screenshots of it, of the report. Part of the first one gets kind of cut off, but so I'll just go with what's here. But apparently a lot of people are feeling that Vince McMahon no longer liked Bray Wyatt. Now, here's what the report says. After multiple reports in regards to Bray Wyatt and his WWE departure have been disputed, Fightful asked for more on the situation and what could have led to the top star's release. The creative team had been told this past summer that Bray Wyatt was been cleared, and that he'd be returning to the company prior to his release. He was supposed to return on Alexa Bliss's birthday, okay, and he got released a week, 2 weeks before. The night of that Raw, he posted what looked to be a new mask, a new, alteration to his character because he's that fucking creative. So yeah, missed opportunity, big time. He was seen at a few post-Mania episodes of WWE Raw, and we're told that he and Randy Orton, among others involved with the WrestleMania match, were not happy with the creative direction or outcome of that match, which changed 2 days before the show. At one point, Fightful was told there was never a true creative endgame for that story that went on 6 months. Initially, after that match, Orton was supposed to take time off, but it was Wyatt who ended up getting time away, while Orton remained and began a team with Riddle. In addition, we heard of W Stars. Again, that's the part that got cut off. And also with Orton being the one that was supposed to take time off, that would, I guess, explain why he would eventually get that time off earlier this year, which in a sense kind of benefited Riddle because, in that whole tag team, but that's neither here nor there. The report continues saying there were numerous people backstage who said that Wyatt was outspoken when he thought creative was bad, and by the end, some felt Vince McMahon just didn't like him due to that. Wow. Creative was also told about some major frustration around the burned Fiend angle, specifically the size, weight, and movement of the suit. Though Wyatt hasn't confirmed this himself, the creative team was told that he believed it was too heavy, was going to look bad, and it would be difficult to move inside it, so it was scrapped. Now, a few weeks back, there was this thing that came out regarding Bray and regarding potential reasons why he was released. One, the big one being the budget cuts thing, but others being that, he was getting difficult to work with, that he wasn't putting on, the matches that were expected of him, Really? 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 Bullshit. Anyway, talent was told that Wyatt's release was a budget cut, though we don't know if that was specifically cited to Wyatt himself. Supposedly, I believe he got a text or whatever regarding his release, if I remember correctly. But this created a gigantic amount of frustration with the roster, staff, and employees alike, with nearly 20 reaching out to Fightful directly after the release, saying there had to be more to it than that, considering that he's a known moneymaker. Exactly my point. How do you budget cut a guy who is one of your top merch sellers and one of your most popular wrestlers? Like, how do you do that? Why? The consensus was that almost nobody in the company truly believed this was a budget cut, citing Wyatt's popularity, merchandise sales, among reasons. Wyatt was well known within the company to move merchandise when he was an active performer, and several other longtime stars said that they don't feel like their jobs are safe any longer, despite of their positions on the card or prior pushes. That one has been something that we've heard what feels like multiple times over in a sense, but basically what it sounds like is that Bray spoke up regarding WWE Creative, and why wouldn't he? They keep fucking over his characters every fucking time, and Vince finally had enough. Seriously? Now, Fightful is pretty damn accurate when it comes to their reporting, so I do trust them. However, I would also suggest taking this with a bit of a grain of salt, because it sounds like Bray, or I should say Wyndham, um, wants to give his side of the story and will at some point. I've seen Chris Van Vliet, tweet out that he would love to be able to talk to him on his on his show or whatever. He's when Bray has specifically said on Twitter, in response to the Ringside News article tweet, that now that we've heard from, well, essentially Pritchard and Laurinaitis, which he referred to Laurinaitis as as Johnny Ace or whatever, and Brucey is in Bruce Pritchard. He would like to give his side of the story, and that's kind of what we're waiting on at this point in time. He is also, obviously, his 90-day non-compete clause has officially elapsed as of last week, and there's a picture going around of him with one of his well-known friends, who's helped him, with with his character and whatnot, characters, and they were at what looked to be a Warner Brothers Studios. So it might be that Bray is looking to get into Hollywood, which would be huge, and I would be a huge fan of that. Um, I wouldn't count out him going to wrestle somewhere. It just might not be this year. Because it doesn't seem to look right now like he's going to go to AEW or Impact or anything like that. Um, and also there's the whole Cult of Wyndham thing, which when you look at when you look around, um, I believe there's a WrestleCade event that Braun Strowman's going to be at. Bo Dallas, related to Bray, um, is also going to be there, which I think is like the first time that we've really seen Bo in the public since his WWE departure. I mean, at least off the top of my head. Um, and I believe Eric Rowan, who also used to be in the Wyatt family. Well, Bo Dallas wasn't in the Wyatt family, but Braun and Eric were, along with Luke Harper, rest in peace. But I believe there's another event that Eric is scheduled for at some point. I'm not sure which. But either way, there's a lot going on here, and I cannot wait to see what Bray does going forward. I'm wondering if at some point, wherever he decides to go, he might do a new, sort of Wyatt family kind of thing with the Cult of Wyndham. Whatever he does, it's going to be awesome. We all know that. But in relation to this with Bray and the WWE, if it is confirmed that Bray, that part of the reason why he was released, or a big reason why he was released, was because of him speaking up regarding WWE Creative, as we have seen others speak up about WWE Creative. John Moxley recently, for example, where he basically said, fuck Kevin Dunn. If that's the reason why Bray was released, fuck you, Vince McMahon. Because let's be honest here, WWE Creative fucking sucks. It just does. It's not the same as it used to be. It's not done by the same people. You've got fucking Don Pritchard and Laurinaitis around. Like, why? WWE Creative honestly needs a hard fucking reset. You need to get people in there that actually know what the fuck they're doing and can write, competent shit. Um, that's not repeats and bullshit, bullshit finishes. Um, but aside from that, again, Bray was one of, if not your most creative, thinker in terms of wrestling, that you've ever had. He's constantly been able to repackage himself, in various ways when he felt that it was time for a change. And it seemed like, based on what he posted the night that he was supposed to come back before having been released, it appeared that and it was reported that we were getting another character change with him. And who knows what that would have been? Maybe we'll see that down the road, wherever he goes. But how could you fuck this up? How? It just shows that Vince is just so fucking out of touch at this point. And um, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shout out Adam from Parts of Unknown, who did a video a while back how he would book WWE in the post Vince McMahon era. And in regard to that, which by the way, he did a hell of a job with it. I suggest you check the video out. He also did one on how he would book the Fiend. Again, hell of a job. Like, infuriates me that we didn't get what he, did in that video in real life, but I digress. The WWE needs a hard reset. It needs to change. The hope is that with AEW putting on so much pressure that maybe that will get the WWE to change, but it will not change unless Vince changes his ways or unless Vince is gone, like CM Punk said in his pipe bomb years ago. And at the end of the day, I just feel so fucking bad for Bray because he kept getting fucked over with WWE Creative and how they treated his characters. The Fiend got fucked over the worst. And if he spoke up and that's the reason why he got released, then that's just petty as fuck as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Honestly, just let's just wait and see. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what Bray has to say down the road. But yeah, if this is what actually happened, then people have every right to be pissed. And fuck you, Vince McMahon. Thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.